Okay, so this is quite frankly my most scary story I'm going to tell you guys yet. Some of you are probably going to say, oh, this is just cap, man. There's no way this actually happened. Yes, these kind of things actually happen in my life. All these videos that you're going to see and see on this channel actually all real. None of them are fictional. They are all, to be quite fair, real, unfortunately. I'm going to say unfortunately because a lot of these things that I had talked about in the podcast are actually not nice at all. And this is just kind of one of them which were really, really crazy when I was a little baby and when I was 9 or 10 years old. So enjoy the video. So when I was a little baby, right, I was born with a narrow airway to the lungs, causing very difficult breathing. It caused a caved in chest plate and looked really scary. Luckily, I outgrew this as I got older and more handsome. So yeah, basically I was just a little baby. I got born and my lungs, I just had no oxygen almost coming through me. I was breathing like I just don't know how to explain to you guys, but it was painful as a little baby, man. I grew actually too early as well, which caused my autism. No, I'm just kidding. I don't think it causes autism. I don't know. Just a joke, right? God, I'm autistic, so I can joke about it. Wait, what? You're entitled to it because you have autism? That isn't cool, man. Hey, it was a joke. If you don't accept the joke, then it ain't meant for you. Anyway, so all jokes aside, man, it was very scary as a little baby because my parents just didn't know what to do because they were in the hospital. I think it was still in Florida. The hospital isn't there anymore for anyone wondering because it got flat down and you got all buildings now. But this is like 18 years ago. My man almost didn't survive because I just had difficulty breathing. I eventually grew out, which was fantastic. It was great. I actually finally managed to grow it out, which meant that my chest actually grew normally. My lungs became more wide, which was fantastic, which meant I could breathe normally again because I needed to go on a tube as a little baby for oxygen because I hardly got any oxygen inside as a baby, so I needed to get oxygen somehow. Let's just go to the scary thing. To be quite fair, this is just the scariest thing I actually ever witnessed because as a baby, you don't actually really remember those kind of things. But I was around 9 or 10 years old. I was at school one day. I normally had stomach aches. It was just quite normal. And I think we've all had those kind of things where if you've either eaten too fast or you kind of skipped a breakfast for a day, you just become a little bit hungry. Your stomach starts growling because you just want food because you're hungry, man. Your boy needs some food. I was at school and I could just remember correctly that it was morning. I think it was 9 o'clock I was at school. And it just kind of started from there. I had stomach ache. I said, ooh, I have a stomach ache. Can I just go to the toilet? I went, tried to take a poop. Nothing came out. 20 minutes. Because it was the toilet was in the goddamn classroom, which was kind of awkward. So you only had like one toilet to go to. So you kind of had to hurry up. But I just couldn't care because I just had a massive stomach ache. Nothing came out. And it just an hour continuing, I just had a stomach ache. The next time, no, I just had a stomach ache the whole time, like 2-3 hours. I normally don't have those kind of things. I just had it and they come and go because I was either just hungry or I had to go take a poop because my stomach just wasn't feeling well, or I had to hold in a fart, which, to be quite fair for any guys out there and females, don't hold your farting because that just hurts quite a lot. It gives you massive diarrhea or cramps. So if you want to fart, you go to fart, let that bad boy out and just let the other people suffocate and suffer. Eventually, my teacher had called my dad because my dad was at work because it was just like 5 minutes away driving. I think he actually oh god, I remember he actually walked to my school. I think, yeah, I think he walked to my school. If I could remember, I honestly just don't know, but I think he walked or he was with the car. I don't know which one it was. I think it was the car, maybe the bike. I don't know. No, I don't think he had a bike then. But anyways, we went home, right, and my stomach ache kept on getting worse. I just didn't go. So eventually, my dad called my mom and said, honey, when are you home? I'm home around 5. Okay, because Keegan is just not feeling good. He's had stomach ache since the whole morning. Because normally it's just really odd if you get a stomach ache. Like for an hour, okay, that's pretty normal, I guess. If you've ate too much or, etc. But it just didn't go away. So my mom eventually came home at 5 o'clock at night time. And she said, okay, I'm just not liking this. We're going to go to the hospital right away. I said, hospital for what? It's not normal for a kid to have stomach aches since the morning till nighttime. It just isn't normal. We've got to go to the hospital. So we just went to the hospital. Wow, I think it was actually quite late. I think it was just 7 or 8 o'clock. Because they tried to feed me before and I just never ate, to be quite fair. But we're going to come to that story just now. And they did research on me. And I think it actually was the exact same night they did surgery on me. And this is where the story comes. I had to write these things down. To be quite fair, my dad wrote these down. And God knows what this says. If y'all can read this, you get $1 from me. Damn it. After 9 years, I had epididymitis. God, whatever this word is. You know what this is? Yeah, this. If you can read it, congratulations, because I can hardly. That word, which isn't too bad. Well, that's quite a big lie because it hurt painfully. Damn, my dad cannot write for days. Look at that. What is this supposed to mean? I don't know, which popped and almost cost me my life. I was in hospital for 3 weeks and it was eventually fine. Yeah, it was fine eventually, but that son of a gun hurt quite a lot. I actually had surgery the exact same night they did, they just kind of like did research on me to see what was going on. When you've ever had appendix, that hurts because it's just kind of like body fluid or food poisoning. That kind of stuff hurts and it just keeps on growing and it expands from your stomach to the lower body of your parts, and it just keeps on hurting and it just doesn't stop. It keeps on burning and punching, like someone is just continuously punching you in your stomach, just non-stop. So eventually, I've still got the scars. I unfortunately just can't show you guys because it's kind of like lower, and you know YouTubers with those kind of things, I ain't trying to get demonetized, trying to make a buck, but I still have the scars to this day. And yeah, it's quite strange. One here, one there, and here. And I was on a narcotic. There was this Belgian woman who did surgery on me, but it was very scary because, first of all, I was quite underweight. Because the thing is, right, my parents always gave me food, but I kind of just never ate because of the fact that my lung, something here just kind of went wrong, and it always hurt swallowing food because I just couldn't swallow it without getting pain the whole time. So I just tried to avoid food as much as I could. And I kind of fed. I just never ate because I just never was hungry. When I used to go to school, I swear to God, I either had an egg for breakfast, I had a toasty with ham and cheese, and that was it. I didn't eat anything during recess, lunch, because the thing was, my teachers, because my dad and mom told me he doesn't eat a lot. Can you please just make sure he eats, regardless if he doesn't or wants to. Just make sure he goes and eats his food because he just needs it. He's not eating a lot at home. We're trying to give him as much as can. He just won't consume anything because he just isn't hungry. And I've always had kind of a problem with eating meat as a little kid. I just kind of never liked the taste, yet I ate it. I know, kind of hypocritical. I know, when I was a little kid, man, what'd you expect? I kind of always had a problem with eating animals, I suppose, until I grew up and ate steak. Now I'm a vegetarian, hey, and now I'm going vegan one day, hey, let's go. I'm trying to go vegan one day, not yet, because I'm a YouTuber, I want to make content still with good stuff, but anyway, so, yeah, they always used to only let me play with the kids if I had my food consumed, which I kind of hardly did. I always just kind of used to throw it under my table, just shove it to the other kid's table next to me, so he could, hide it from me. But nah, it was just scary because eventually I was in hospital, I just couldn't move because it just hurt so much. I couldn't walk. I hadn't walked for 4 or 5 days. I had to go in a wheelchair, and man, it was quite painful, man, because I just couldn't do anything. I had to get force fed, basically, which is kind of like a tube to your nose. It doesn't hurt, but it's quite a nasty feeling. It's kind of uncomfortable, man. With just a pipe has to go, a tube has to go through your nose from a bag with food in it, or just, I guess, watered down food, kind of like I just see it like stuff, just kind of like baby food, really. Had to go through the IV tube, I think it's called, and it had to go through my nose, and that's kind of like fed it in my tummy. And if I had to go take a poop, I just couldn't do it myself, and someone had to go clean it for me, which was just kind of awkward. But not just only awkward, but also just very uncomfortable, because I wanted to do those kind of things on my own. And I remember my teacher back then, and the class had written me a hope everything turns out to be good. They were showing fake love. How dare y'all? Nah, it wasn't a fake love. They were genuinely concerned, because when I came back from all these surgeries and stuff, I was quite tired, man. I was mentally so tired and physically quite weak, because I didn't eat. For y'all wondering how much I woke when I was 9 or 10, I woke 21 kilos. Yeah, it's just quite bad. It's just not good. I actually used to, matter of fact, have a kid in my class who I think it's called Suikerziekte. He didn't have diabetes, but I think he had Suikerziekte, which kind of meant he had a lack of sugar and those kind of things. So he used to, like, every day, I think, during recess, he had to go, a little thing, he punctured a thing in his finger, and he puts the blood on the thing, and then, I don't know what it kind of does, but he used to have a tube around him everywhere he go. Yeah, I don't know if the kid's alive. Wouldn't surprise me if he isn't, because he was very, very, very unhealthy and skinny. Man, that kid was worse than me. I don't actually know what the kid's name was, but he was a very nice kid. I used to sit next to him, could have a nice talk, but my man, it hurts. And especially just being in that situation, because your parents just don't know if you're going to make it or not, right? So that's kind of like the worst thing as a parent you can have, potentially. Your kid may not actually make it, but your guy won. Eventually, of course I won. I mean, geez, I just couldn't not win it. I'm the goddamn Virgin King. What do you expect? Now, but all jokes aside, it was quite scary, man, as a little kid. Almost passing away twice. Almost didn't make it when I was a little kid. And yet again, growing up as a little kid, just almost didn't make it. Until now, Look at these bad boys. Yeah, they bad boys. You want to touch him? No, you can't touch him. You ain't got the honor. You ain't got the privilege to touch my beautiful muscles. Look at these. Oh, yeah, I'll knock you out, boy. I'm just kidding. I don't. I'm kind of like a spaghetti noodle. But anyways, that was quite scary, my man. Not knowing if I would make it or not. Because I was just so underweight and I was quite sick and tired of everything in the hospital. I just couldn't live with the fact that I just had to go in goddamn bed so many hours a day. And I was just quite tired. I slept most of the times, or tried to at least, because I just couldn't do anything. I was just too tired. And eventually 3 or 4 weeks later, actually, I got back up and your boy was back to school. Which wasn't a really good move because, I was really emotionally and just very, very tired, quite weak as well. But I eventually started eating more, which was just great. I used to eat more, and now I'm just a little fat little boy. I'm just a little fat ass. I'm just keep very honest. Now I'm not fat, but I'm healthy right now because I just remember the doctors used to telling me that I won't grow big if I don't eat well. Jokes on you, 166. My boy is 177 right now. Talk about that, boy. I'm the tallest in my family at home right now, except my brother. He's 188, but he lives with his wife, obviously. Which I'm actually, just fun fact, going to tell you, very honest. When this video is posted, I'm actually at his house right now. Wow, you'll see a mukbang with my brother later today on Keegan Mukbangs. That is just fantastic, and hopefully a video on Keegan's podcast tomorrow, and maybe a special video with my brother tomorrow. Oh, that's great, Keegan. Yes, I know. But yeah, this was the story. Just very crazy, man. Going through that as a little kid, and I just pray to God I don't go through that anymore. And my little sister in the background is being weird again. She's autistic. I don't know, maybe she has. But yeah, that was the story. Something you're gonna say, man, this is just cap. Yeah, you could say what you want, but it isn't cap. I kind of wish it was, but no, it isn't, man. Your boy's been through herds and overwon them because he's just a virgin king. He survives every single thing in the world. Thank you so much for watching. And if you like the content, definitely you should definitely subscribe. Only if you're going to watch these videos. Don't subscribe and not watch them. So check y'all later, man. Peace out. Ooh.